Dr. Fenway was an inventor, a tinkerer, a man who chased butterflies with a net made of coat hangers and dreams. He burst into Kam's office one Tuesday, a whirlwind of bubbling vials and tangled wires. "Patterson, my dear fellow," he boomed, "just the man I need." Kam adjusted his glasses, a bit of granite dust falling from his brow. He had a feeling his predictable life was about to change. The contraption was a sight to behold. It had gears, levers, and a small, fluffy hamster running on a wheel. "Behold," Dr. Fenway declared, "my animal transmogrifier." Kam, ever the pragmatist, raised an eyebrow. "And what, pray tell, does it do?" he inquired, carefully retrieving his quartz. "Why, it transmogrifies animals, of course." Dr. Fenway beamed, holding up the syringe. "One creature into another. Imagine the possibilities." Kam, a man who found joy in the solidity of rocks, couldn't imagine anything of the sort. He preferred the reliability of the natural world. "Fascinating," he said, trying to sound polite. But before he could say more, Dr. Fenway had grabbed a passing cockroach, popped it into the machine, and plunged the syringe into a designated slot. The hamster, startled, ran faster. The bell dinged furiously, and with a pop and a puff of smoke, the cockroach was gone. Kam, however, was not looking at the mouse. He was looking at the syringe, which in all the excitement was now pointed directly at him. And before either of them could say transmogrification, the plunger went down. The hamster, sensing impending chaos, abandoned its wheel for a nap. The bell fell silent, and Kam felt a most peculiar sensation, like his insides were rearranging themselves into something larger. He looked down at his hands, or rather, where his hands used to be. Instead, he saw two massive hooves. "Oh dear," he muttered, his voice now a deep and rumbling bellow. His desk, once pristine, was now in shambles, unable to contain his rapidly expanding form. Papers went flying, the quartz rolled away with a clink, and Kam Patterson, rock enthusiast, was no more. In his place stood a very confused, very large moose. Kam, or rather, the moose that was once Kam, tried to apologize, but his words came out as a series of snorts and grunts. He tried to back away, but only succeeded in knocking over a filing cabinet. This, he thought, his antlers brushing against the ceiling, is going to be tricky. Life as a moose was not without its perks. Such a majestic creature, they'd coo, offering him apples and carrots. Kam, ever practical, learned to use his antlers to hold his briefcase full of rocks. It was a tight fit, but it worked. He even managed to train a flock of pigeons to deliver his mail. Wobble Creek had never seen anything like it. Kam, the moose who drank tea at Mrs. Miggin's bakery and browsed the newspaper at the park, became a local celebrity. Tourists flocked to get their picture taken with him. He charged $5 a photo, all proceeds donated to the Wobble Creek Rock and Mineral Society. He even had his own column in the local paper, Ask Anthony Antlers. Kam thought the name was a bit much, but it was catchy, he had to admit. There were, of course, downsides. For one, his apartment was not exactly moose-friendly. He kept tripping over furniture, getting stuck in doorways, and his landlord was none too pleased about the hoof prints on the ceiling. Also, finding clothes that fit was a nightmare. He eventually settled for custom-made overalls from a tailor who specialized in circus costumes. And dating? Let's just say it was a tall order.